Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the SAS, or Super Action Statue JoJo's Bizarre Adventure ACDC, or ACDC, which is totally not based on a music reference at all. No, they all are, I know. This is my least favorite of the Pillarmen, but you guys wanted me to review Wham, and I will be reviewing him. And I've reviewed Cars forever ago. If you guys want me to review him again in my current review format, since I'm reviewing the other two guys, let me know and I'll do that. But these guys did just re-release recently, so I picked them up and now I'm doing reviews. So also let me know which is your favorite Pillarman. We have Whamu, ACDC, or Cars. Let me know about those. And let's go ahead and get this guy off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about 6 3/4 inches, not counting the top of his hat, which makes him pretty close to, let's say 17 centimeters. A little bit of size on this guy, which I think is appropriate, and that's pretty good. Overall, the aesthetic is fine, not counting the actual character design, which is super duper weird and why I don't like the character. But what they've done is well done. It looks like the character, lots of shading going on. Of course, I have a paint defect here where the arm was like that and it messed up the paint. That's just typical for my luck. But all in all, they did do a really good job. There's tons of detail work on here, which looks nice and clean. No issues. Lots of shading. Skin tone's nice. The whole figure's a nice matte finish. No issues at all with the aesthetic there. Obviously, it's not perfect. Nothing's ever going to be perfect, but it is really, really nice. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. They did a good job overall. As far as the accessories go, this guy doesn't have a whole lot. He's got enough, though. We have, let's just start with the alternate head. I'll just get it out there. We have this crazy alternate head, which if you watch the show, it makes sense, or read the anime, it makes sense. Read the anime, wow. Read the manga, it makes sense. I think it was in the show, right? Maybe I only saw it from the manga. I don't remember. Either way, we have this alternate head, which is really nicely detailed. Crazy design, but it does look good for what it's supposed to be. We have alternate hands. We have the 2 fist hands that come out in the package, 2 different sets of open style pose hands, and then we have a set of his crazy hands, which again only makes sense if you know the character. They creep me out, but we do have them. And then for his last real accessory, we have the brain thing that goes on the back of JoJo. Very nicely detailed, nicely sculpted, and it does peg into his back. Then lastly, we have a display stand, which will allow him to get in some poses if you want to. So not the greatest amount of accessories, but definitely enough. It'll be perfectly fine for recreating some iconic scenes, and I think that is good. I'll give it an 8. Lots of nice detail work on some of those accessories. Now, as far as the articulation goes, this guy actually does stand out in some ways and not so much in others. We have a ball peg for the neck, and then for the head we have our standard hinge and ball peg combo. Less limitations for some parts of it, but some more limitations in others, but even still, you get decent posability. You shouldn't really have any trouble there. The shoulder pads are connected to the torso, not to the arms, but because of the design, other than raising his arms straight up, you still have plenty of range, so I guess that is okay. You do have a butterfly joint in here, which does help. The shoulder pad doesn't move with the arm, so it's not the best design, and I'm not sure how helpful that really is. It does bring the arm around a little bit more, but that's probably not going to make that much of a difference. Standard bicep swivel is fine. Double ball hinge elbows gives you really good range and a nice aesthetic, and you can use that for an additional bicep swivel if you want to, so that is pretty good. You can see a little ball hinge wrist, lots of extra range, not the best looking thing, but remember, these originally released quite a while ago. The fact that they hold up at all over time does stand to show that they are pretty solid figures. Ball peg for the upper torso, not a ton of range, basically enough to just adjust him for posing, slight posing. And then down here we have another ball peg which does do most of the heavy lifting, and combining the two should give you enough posability, which I think will be okay. For the hips, we have our ball pegs, basic ball pegs, not the most range, but that should be enough. I think you'll be okay there. This piece is flexible, though it's not super flexible. I don't know how much you want to really try to flex it, but you can get the legs out pretty far. Not the best range again, but it'll get the job done. And then going backward, you do get a little bit of range as well, and you have a thigh swivel. So again, it's not the best, but it is old originally, and it does work well enough to get most of your posing needs taken care of. Ball hinge at the top, single hinge at the bottom, double hinge overall works nicely. You can rotate on that ball, though I don't really see a need for that. For For the ankles, you do have a ball hinge, which gives you pretty decent range. You can rotate it around for a killer ankle rocker, which is very nice. And then we have a toe hinge, which is pretty much useless, as they pretty much always are. So articulation on this guy, like I said, not great. It's not super impressive, but it does get the job done. I think you'll be able to get him in a decent pose, put him on your shelf, and be happy with it. If you're looking for real crazy posability for photos and stuff, this probably isn't the figure for you. But then again, it is because of the photogenic nature of a highly detailed, stylized, aesthetically pleasing figure like this one. If you just look at the details in the head alone, you are getting your money's worth. Very, very nicely done. So I'm gonna give this guy an overall, I'm gonna say 8. Yeah, there are problems with the articulation. He doesn't have a ton of accessories, but he does have a pretty nice array. And the aesthetic on these guys, the paint jobs, the sculpts, very, very nice. And I can't imagine anybody who wanted to get this figure getting it and then being disappointed. You might not like the character like I don't, and I get it, and you wouldn't want to buy it. But if you were gonna buy it, there's no way you're gonna be bummed out once you own it. It is definitely a solid release. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. That helps me out a whole bunch. If you haven't subscribed, you probably should. Maybe even turn on the bell. That'll help even more. But I have new videos out just about every single day. Of course, I do miss some here and there, and pretty much always on Wednesdays, but almost every other day other than Wednesdays. And lots and lots of videos already on the channel just waiting for you. So make sure you come back for all of that good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.